guys, I'm a little bit behind on my videos. In fact, this was not supposed to be my next video. I had some other videos planned. I've recorded some videos and I've had no audio thanks to my wonderful OBS. And the fact that I keep unplugging my laptop and plugging it back in and my microphone port keeps changing. Anyways, long story. In this case, I should have audio, and so hopefully this video will make it out to the public. In any case, I got a feature request from a customer of mine asking me to submit it on their behalf to Halo, where we can do essentially just-in-time access for admins. Where if you have a user in Halo, or an agent in Halo really, and they need more access to do certain steps or promotions, we want to be able to grant it to them temporarily, because we know, like, we trust them to have it, but we don't want them to have it full-time, because as part of their normal role or day-to-day role, they don't need admin access, and we want to limit what they can do accidentally, or what options they can do. The other thing that happens when we do provide a just-in-time access scenario, we can then start talking about approval processes, notifications for when something is going on, and so that way we have an audit trail of what's happening. Essentially, we want like an over-the-shoulder UAC method for HaloPSA, speaking tech. So I was writing up the feature request and I was going to submit it, and then I realized, like, we could technically do this ourselves using Rewst. It's been a while since I've done a Rewst and Halo combination and really dug into like the various ways that Halo makes anything possible and Rewst makes anything possible, and how the two of them are basically unstoppable together. So I figured, why not? It should take me, I don't know, we'll see how long it takes me to actually build. I'm going to guess I have half an hour for my next meeting, and we'll find out if I can get it done in time. With that being said, I'm going to switch over to my screen share. This is my Halo. This is my production Halo. It's been a while since I showed this off. This is my production Halo that I'm using for Rising Tide. And I'm going to create a new role temporarily that we're going to use called fake admin. And we're not going to assign any agents to it. We're just going to go ahead and create that role. We want to grab this ID number. We're going to come back and note that ID number. It's going to be something that we're going to use later on. The other thing that we want to notice is we want to have, we want to go to our agents, and we want to capture the API of how we add an agent to the role, and what it looks like in that payload. So a couple things we want to do. We're right now filtering our DevTools to API. We want to look up a specific agent. In this case, we want to look up Mendy at risingtidegroup.net, and we're going to stop. And there was likely, I think, let's just refresh this for a moment. We've got agents, requests going out, and inside of this payload, we should have the email address, I believe. Agent show all true, no, never mind. No, wait, it does not filter by email address. So that's going to be a little more fun. Okay, good to know. We're going to grab API agent, and then we are going to come around and just select the one agent that's submitting a form. So we're going to build a form in Rewst, and we're going to grab that one agent. We're going to go into that agent, and then we're going to go ahead and associate the fake admin role that we just created. And we're going to go ahead and submit that and save. And we're now going to grab this payload right here, this post, this one out to the API agent. And we're going to grab this payload and take a look at it. So let me just expand this a bit. This is what we need. So essentially, we're going to be passing back the agent itself. Check reassign is set to true. ID is the ID number. Is agent details is equal to true. And then we're going to include the roles as well as the fake admin role. So if you notice, what we need is we need the ID number and the name. We grabbed the ID number from before. That's the same one that's in our clipboard, I think. 1033E, yep, that's the same one in our clipboard, right? So we grabbed that already, and we just need to pass that and the name into the array that already exists of pre-existing roles that, again, are just made up of things that are there. So we can kind of see a markup of how we're going to do this. I'm just going to go ahead. Ooh, I cleared it. I did not mean to clear that. I meant to stop it. Let's go ahead and edit that. We're going to pull the fake admin out and save. Okay, now I'm going to stop it. And this is going to be the one that we want to use, the payload that we're going to copy. We're just going to, again, it's just going to be about putting that role back the way it was, or putting that role in when we need it. So let's go ahead and bring this over. And let's start building out what this is going to look like inside of Rewst. So let's go into Rewst here. We're going to go into our forms. and we're going to start building a brand new form. We're going to call this just-in-time HaloPSA admin access. And you can swap this role out for any role that you want. So the administrator role is generally not going to change. That ID is, hopefully, that ID is the same. You haven't touched it. You haven't deleted it, at least. You can rename it, but you haven't deleted it. So that ID is not going to change. But if you need to, you can go ahead and set that ID manually when you set this up in Rewst. In this case, for our form, we're going to just drop some very, very basic information here. We are not going to ask them for anything other than, like, what's the reason for it. Justification, let's say. We'll do text justification. What's the reason you need rights? And we're going to ask, like, maybe a timeline, date, period, and say length, access length. And we're going to say something like, until what date and time do you need access? Or until when you need access for. And so here's going to be a kicker. Like, Rewst is not going to pause a workflow for longer than a certain period in time. About 8 hours. We don't want it to get to that point. We want to limit how many max, let's say 1 hour or something like that. So we can say it's a required field, and we could potentially do something where if actually I don't know if we can do this for that, but we could potentially put a warning up if we try going longer than an hour from now or something like that. But let's start getting the basics in, and let's see what this looks like. So we're going to go ahead and save this, and let's build a workflow. Let's open up workflows in a new window, and let's create it. And we're going to call this just-in-time HaloPSA access flow. We're going to tag this as, I don't know, demo and in development and production and Mendy created demo and all the other tags that are there that don't really mean anything. And we're going to start with a noop, just like everything. We're going to call this our start. Oop. Clicking too fast. And we're going to throw some generic API requests out there from Halo. So first, we're going to try to find an email address, right? So let's do this, get agent by email, get agent by email, and then we're going to, you know, that agent will probably want to, get the roles. If it doesn't come down automatically, we may want to get agent and roles once we have that agent ID. Get agent and roles. Whoa, no spaces. Okay, and then once we have that, we want to now update. Potentially, we want to go through an approval process, right? So if we go to here and do something like, where are you? We can do something like, is it not here? Confirmation email, right? And so now this can be something like request approval. And so now we can go like that. And then once approval has been granted, we can say something like this. Let's say request approval is going to say approval is the CTX approval. And then we'll say yes or no. Whoa. Grant access will be yes. And deny access will be no. And this we can say danger. I don't know, default, and with grant access we can mark as danger potentially, but you can shade it however you want. We set the to address, we'll say mendy@risingtidegroup.net, maybe. Just-in-time admin access requested for HaloPSA. And again, like I'm really running through this very fast because I'm hoping to beat the clock on this video. And I don't know if we're gonna pull it off. With that being said, you can go all out with your styling, automation. You can really do whatever you want here for this. Please review this just-in-time request for HaloPSA admin, and we can go ahead and close that. And then if we come up here and say if CTX dot approval equals yes, then go ahead and grant rights. And so here we can say grant rules. We now will want some sort of time delay potentially, so we can delay workflow until date and time, which would allow us to specify that timer that we had, and then we would just basically copy this task to reset roles once we're done. All right, and so now at some point we may want to decide, well, we need to notify the agent upon the roles being granted if it's a success. And so maybe we want to throw a notification, let them know that, hey, it's time for you got to log in, log out. Inform agent granted, let's say. And so now we're going to come and save that. So once this is a success, we don't really care if it's a success or not. We're going to go ahead and pause that workflow for a bit. And then upon the workflow, wait for expiration. Upon that expiration occurring, we're going to come here, reset roles, and then we're just going to create copy and inform agent reset, basically. So they have to log in and log out again. Right, now if approval is equal to no, then we just going to inform agent denied, basically. So we'll come in here and we'll say something like ctx.approval is equal to no. Then we will go ahead and say, we'll just create a copy of here and inform agent denied. Okay, and so now this is basically a mock-up of things that I have here. Now I might already have like a notification to the agent, notify agent in app, right? So we already have kind of this. So I'm just going to come in here, I'm just going to rename these and delete this one. So this is just a sub workflow I already have. It's doing a generic API query to do that notification. And it does do a notification to the Halo app itself, the notification center, using the API. If you haven't seen that happen before, look at my YouTube video of using the Halo API for notifications, and you'll see how we did that there. Now I'm just going to copy this a couple times, and so now we can say this is reset, and we can delete this one and drag this here and come here, and this is going to be granted, and we can just replace this with that at this point. And so we're basically we're getting there. We have now a very basic structure of an automation that'll go through, take that form, and it will come back and say, hey, we want approval. Do we grant this access? Yes, no, yes, we are granting that access. Let's go ahead and give that those roles. And if not, then we're not going to go ahead and grant those roles. So one of the things that we have to do is we got to create a trigger. So let's go ahead and add a trigger. We're going to do this to just-in-time form submitted. And we're going to go ahead and turn that trigger on, and we're going to choose this to be a form submission. And we're going to do the form of the just-in-time HaloPSA admin access at this point. And let's go ahead and submit that. And now our new trigger is saved. And so now we can go ahead and reset this. And now we were just going to go look at this. So when I do a form submission, what's going to happen is we're going to get things. And let's just set a date and time for, who knows, 5:40 p.m. Oop, I hit cancel instead of submit. Let's try that again. And then we're going to go ahead and set 3:40, whatever, submit. All right, and so now if we go look at our form workflows, we should, I think, actually, I don't know if it actually does a submission. Let's refresh this and try it again. Yeah, the time doesn't really matter. I just want to see if I can get it to fire off. I might have to do a non-preview to get it to load. Yeah, view direct URLs. Let's open that up. and submit. And so now we should have, there we go, one workflow execution. We're expecting it to fail. I'm looking to grab these details, but I'm also looking to grab my context variable of the user.username. So ctx.user.username will give me my email address that I can use to find my agent. And so now I can rerun this specific flow anytime I want to test as I continue to build out my call. So the first thing I need to grab my agents. We know this is a get. We know the API path is going to be agent, potentially. And we have, if we go back here and look at our initial request, let's turn our API calls back on. Well, it's right here, I think. Yeah, so we can basically grab all this right here and just paste it into this like that. If we do it correctly, question mark include enabled equals true, include unassigned equals false, exclude agent 3, show all equals true, close, publish, submit. And now let's just go ahead and rerun this, and we should come back with at least get agent by email, should succeed, and then the rest will fail. So here's my agents that are coming through. It looks like I only received one agent for some reason. It should have received more. Probably because I'm agent 3. Yeah, that makes sense. So let's come back here, and we're just going to remove exclude agent 3 and show all. Now, I like using generic API calls because they're much faster. If you know the API really well, they're very quick to build out. But Rewst absolutely does have the ability to list your agents from one of the built-in tasks that you can do. And here's Mendy at risingtidegroup.net. And we've got the value of email is what we're looking for. So now we're just going to go ahead and pull up a Jinja editor. And we want to pull the list by user. So we do ctx.user.username. This is my email address. And we want to come back and say, I don't have the agents saved right now, but we can just quickly add it in here so we can play with it. Agent is going to be the payload of this. So we just copy that and paste that in. And so now we can say agent for agent in ctx.agents if agents.email equals ctx.user.username. And what did I do wrong here? Let's find out if I do ctx.agent and save, I got my result. And then if I do agent.email for agent and ctx.agent. Oh, I think I know what I did wrong. It's not agents, it's agent. There we go. And now I have my actual agent. And so I can just literally return the first object, D, in case it's empty. So now if I happen to find my email address up here real quick, I just want to make sure that if my email address is broken, that's user.username. If my email address does not match, that my Jinja doesn't die. Right, my Jinja did not die, it just came back with nothing. So that's perfect. We're going to come ahead and grab this, and we're going to go here, and we're just going to grab the agent to be this. And we need to replace ctx.agent with tasks.getAgent by email. Come on, get agent by email .result, close, publish, submit. Now we come back here and we just rerun this query, and we should see essentially a new context variable that gets loaded that will include my agent specifically. Ta-da, just like that. Okay, so we've got my roles down here, I think, if I'm not mistaken. No, roles are not here because I don't know, I don't have all the details yet, but I have most of things here. Okay. And at least I really just need the ID number is really all I need. So I can technically come back here and just say, give me the agent.id. And then I can just rename this to be agent ID, theoretically. And then I can start coming up here. We can already start filling some of the stuff out. The agent ID we know is now ctx.agent ID. And we We don't need a ticket number. We're not going to have one. Email address, we don't need a message. We're going to say something like, your request was denied. Please talk to your supervisor. And then we can close that. And then we can come in here and we can say something like, again, that's CTX agent ID. Your request has been approved. All right, your access, we want to keep it short. Has been granted. Please log out and log in again to use your elevated rights. Your access will expire at whatever. At time, right? Whatever that time is going to be, we can just say that. We'll come back to that and we can populate that later. And then we can copy this, come back here, and we're just going to paste the agent ID in here, and we're going to paste, ooh, that's the wrong clipboard note. Your access has been revoked. Please log in to return to your normal rights. And then we will go ahead and close that and publish that, right? And so we basically started building out the things that we need for this to work. We do need to get the specific agent ID here. So we know to do that, we need to just pass in the same query before, which is agent / the ctx.agent ID. And then let's publish that and let's go ahead and rerun this and see what happens. We are getting to the edge. Hoping I make it. So we got the get agent by email, and let's just refresh this. Right now we can see the workflow is pending. We can load our context up, and we can see that our agent ID is 3. That's correct. Our agent and roles that we received, we got the specific agent back. Do we have our roles included is the question. So let's scroll past our profile photo, which is really long, and see if we've got our roles. Departments, PQRS. It doesn't look like it. Oh no, that's teams. Yeah, it does not look like we have our roles yet, so we probably have to update our query anyways, which is fine. We'll go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and see. So right now this is pending on approval. It's waiting user input, right? So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my email, and for right now I'm just going to go ahead and choose no for that. So give me 1 second. We're just going to pull this up, and we're going to say deny access, which is going to take us back to the Rewst homepage, which is what happens when a webhook completes. And then here we can see the request approval finished, inform agent denied, fired. And so we got the pointless start and the Halo notify agents. And if we go look at our Halo, we should have received a notification that says something along the lines of, not that. Let's just refresh this. I don't want to lose my query. Let's close this out, open this up. Let's run. Well, that worked. All right, let's refresh. And I'm signed out. Okay, let's go ahead and log in. Because I think that's because I modified my permissions. It kicked me out already. So it could be that notification is even pointless. But look, your request was denied. Please talk to your supervisor. And so that is the notification that came out from there. We can go ahead and close that out. We can go grab this. This is the thing that we want to see. And so what we're looking for is include details, I believe. So we're just going to grab everything after that, copy this. So we've got our 3, which is the URL that we're going to hit. Let's go back here. And we're just going to include a question mark, include details equals true, is agent config equals true, publish that, and let's go ahead and rerun this workflow. So we can see we got denied. We're going to go ahead and just rerun this. And let's find out if we got our agent roles, which is specifically the thing that we really care about at this point. Past all this stuff, we've got claims. Is that our roles? No. No, these are our permissions. Okay. Departments, notifications. There we go. There's our roles. Right, and so these are the roles that we care about. Specifically, we care about the name and the ID GUID. So we've got the ID and name that we care about. and that is going to be inside. We're really just going to copy the exact same syntax we did here. We're just going to come up here and we're just going to say agent roles is going to be agent it's going to be, let's think, we want the ID colon and then the role.id and then name colon and then the role.name for role in does it get returned as an array or does it get returned as a single object? That's the point. It gets returned as a single object, so we're good. So we can come here and say tasks dot get agent and roles. Okay. Result roles if. I mean, we don't even need this part technically speaking. And we don't need the first or the D at that point because we want all the roles and there's got to be a result. Otherwise, the query would have failed in the first place. So let's go ahead and publish that, submit that, and see what happens. This should still be waiting on my denial or approval. I'm going to go ahead and just deny it again for right now. Let's go ahead and deny that access. And that should complete that run, which will allow us to see that notification that goes out, your request was denied, and then we can go ahead and just rerun this workflow again and see if we get our roles this time. All right, so our workflow task failed, or something wrong with our Jinja, obviously. It didn't work the way I wanted it to. Let's go ahead and grab this payload and jump into our context Jinja Live Editor. We're gonna add our agent roles here. So we got agent ID, we're going to put a comma, we're just going to say agent again, and paste so that we get it. Now if I come in here and do ctx.agent.roles, it should be a list of our roles. We just want specifically role for role in, that should work, and then we can come in here and say ID is role.id, and that should give us our IDs, and then we also want name is role.name, and so this does work. So what the heck happened and why did it fail? Let's go look at our Jinja failures to see what happened here. Expected token got a comma. Oh, got 4. Expected, oh yeah, duh. I forgot to close it. Okay, should have just looked at the error message instead of trying to preempt troubleshooting. So right here, I forgot to close the JSON object. So it's doing this JSON object for role in tasks. Okay, close, publish, this should work. Again, time limit for the next meeting. We're gonna go ahead and just rerun this at this point. We're gonna request approval. So we did get our agent and our role. So let's go ahead and load the context up. Let's take a look. We did get our agent role successfully, and the only thing that we need to do now is potentially add the admin role to it. So what we want to do is back all the way up here. I'm going to go ahead and deny that one more time, and let's just finish this up really quickly because we're basically almost done, barring any of the bells and whistles that we may want to add on top of it. So if we come back here and look at this, this should have succeeded. We should have gotten our denied again for the last time, hopefully, for right now. Let's go into our flow, and let's go back to our very start up here. We're going to build a admin role context, and this is going to be something that we're going to do a Jinja expression in, and then we're going to do a array, and this is going to be the same kind of thing that we just did, where we have the ID colon, and then this is going to be the ID. We're going to put a comma. This will be the name, and the name is going to be fake admin, right? And then we're going to close our object out. And then at this point, we just need to go grab that ID and make sure the name. Yeah, notice all the request denies that are coming through. That's cool. Let's go ahead and flip over to our roles and grab our fake admin role. So our name is matching perfectly. We're just going to grab the ID number from this address bar, go back into our flow, and just paste that in. Close, publish, submit. right? And so now we just need to go to our payload where we modify the roles at this point. Once it's been approved, we're going to come in here and we're going to say this is now a post. Our agent is going to be the same endpoint, API/agent. Our body is going to be a little bit different. We're going to come back here and see if I have, do I still have it on here? I probably don't, right? Let's go ahead and clear this out and jump back to our agents. We'll go to Mendy, we'll go to edit, and let's grant the fake admin role temporarily. All right, we're going to grab this post. I'm just going to copy this entire payload as is, and then we're going to pause the API and come back out here, and we're just going to paste it in here, and we're going to turn this into a Jinja expression, and then we're going to start cleaning this up. So is agent details is equal to true, check reassign is equal to true. Roles, we're going to remove all of these. We don't need this right now. And then ID is 3. We're going to close our JSON object. We're going to close our array, and then we're going to close our Jinja expression. The last thing that we're going to do is we're going to JSON dump because this is expecting it to be in a JSON string format. And now we just have to figure out our roles at this point, which is going to be something like CTX dot agent roles. Come on, where are you? Agent roles plus CTX dot admin role, and that's it. I believe, right? And so then that'll grant those roles just like that. And the 3 we're going to replace with ctx.agent ID. Okay, we're going to close this, and we are going to publish that. And then we're going to just copy this entire thing, come back down here, and put this in here. And we're going to remove the admin role at this point because we already have the agent roles already set. And so now the only thing that we have to work out is the expiration period, right? So we're going to come in here and we're going to say, we're going to grab our agent ID, and no, that's the wrong one. We're going to come in here and we're going to grab this agent URL. We're going to paste it in here, set this to post, and publish. All right, guys, I've got 2 minutes left. So let's go ahead and rerun this workflow real quick. I'm going to remove my rights. I'm going to close this out. I don't need DevTools anymore. I'm going to remove my fake admin account from here, my fake admin role. And we're going to go ahead and save this. And now I'm just going to come back here and rerun this flow. And this time I'm going to accept it. It's still going to fail out because I haven't done the access length period. So we're going to see what that looks like. But we're going to, it's requesting approval. I got the email. I'm going to open that up and hit grant access this time. And we'll see that the workflow will die at the time of where it's expecting to do the wait for expiration. I mean, there's no time period. Oh, it may just pause forever. I don't know. But in any case, we can see that it informed the Halo agent that the role was granted successfully. If I come back here and refresh my page, number 1 is I should have the fake admin role granted again. And number 2 is I've been granted access. Please log out and log in again to use your elevated rights. Your access will expire at time. And so now all we have to do is fill in the missing pieces for the expiration period, which would be something along the lines of access length, right? And then inside the email, we may want to do something like, that's the subject line. Please review. Justification reason is going to be along the lines of CTX dot, we need to do that. CTX dot text justification or something like that, right? Yeah, text justification. And then we'll close this, and then we'll go to our wait for expiration. And this will be something along the lines of CTX dot access length is when it's going to be delayed until, right? And then at some point, this should expire. Our rules will reset back to normal. We'll inform the agent again. And just like that, we have a completed workflow of just-in-time Halo admin access in under 30 minutes. Can't believe I pulled that off. Hopefully, this was interesting and fun. And let me know your comments below. Have a great rest of your day.